Y'all know who I am. I'm Dr. Hart, and I have some startling news for you. And I'm hoping you're ready because this is going to be a bombshell. Have you ever wondered how it is that quote unquote black people can be such a small population in this country? Have you ever wondered about that? I wondered about it a lot. And so I went and did some digging. Okay? I went and did some digging. Let me tell y'all what I found. Let me share my screen with you. You've probably seen this before. Okay? Are you seeing that? This right here is called the Naturalization Act of 1790. The definition of a free white person. Now I know as soon as you take a look at that, you're gonna start thinking about light skinned people, the light Americans. I like to call them light Americans because until we actually acquire a status that makes all people who live here on this land, who are under the so-called government that we have, until they all become one people, okay? Until they all become one people, that's what I'm going to call. I'm going to stop referring to people by the color code and just do shades. I think shades is a whole lot easier. Anyway, y'all see this? I'm going to enlarge it because this right here is a major player in what's going on right now as we speak. Okay? Now, I want y'all to look at this carefully. I'm hoping you guys, I'm hoping you guys take a few minutes out of your day to at least listen to this if you don't hear anything else, because pretty soon the tide is going to turn. And one of the reasons why we've been treated the way we've been treated is because of this right here. Okay? Now, see what it says? It says free white persons, quote unquote, free white persons, referred to in the Naturalization Act as amended by the Act 1870, meaning naturally giving to it when first used in 1 Stat 103, column 3, meaning all persons belonging to the European races, then commonly counted as white, and their descendants, including such descendants in other countries to which they have immigrated. Why is this population the only one defined? See, now we've got questions, oh, this is not white supremacy. What is this then? If that's not what it is. Well, let's read down even further because this is going to shed light on what's happening. Okay? Now, this definition also includes European Jews who we know are not the real Jews. We know they're not the real ones. Europeans that have accepted the religion and the culture. Stop playing with me. All right? More or less intermixed with the peoples of Celtic, Scandinavian, Teutonic, Iberian, which is Europe, Latin, Greek, and Slavic descent, which includes the Magyars, the Magyars, Lapps and Finns, the Basques, and the Albanians. It includes the Latin mixed Celtic, Iberian, and Moorish inhabitants of Spain and Portugal, the mixed Greek, Latin, Phoenician, and North African inhabitants of Sicily, the mixed Slav and Tartar inhabitants of South Russia. Now, I want to stop right there for me. If you look at this and you read this wrong, you might think that there's nobody in these lands but light people. Here's the news flash. There were a lot of dark people over there. A lot of melaninated people up there. King James, listen, if you look in your Bible, all those guys you see, those, stop playing with me. Okay? Every single one of them were dark skinned. Every single one of them. Europe never received no revelation from God. Never. So how did they get it? They got it because it was down here. It was down in the land that they call Africa, which initially was Alkebulan. They got the revelation there and took it north. Okay? Are you listening to me? All right. Now, you would be under the impression that there's nothing but light people up there. But guess what? There was a heavy population of dark people up there. Heavy. So what does that say? That says if you're from any of these lands, now just remember they're not using the physical description here, they're talking about nationalities. So you can take that nationality, and when you come to America, if you come from any of these places, you're counted as white. That's a tick mark. Okay? Now, watch this. When we go down any further, see, now we're talking about Moorish inhabitants of Spain and Portugal. Now you're talking about all dark people. They're dark. Stop playing with me. I mean, are we going to read or what? See, and we wonder why we have a problem with racism in this country. Okay? The reason we have a problem with racism is because they won't change nothing. All of the stuff that is directly related to race, culture, are based on this concept, and they won't change anything. So all you hear, all of you dark Americans that campaigned and rallied to get into Congress, campaigned and rallied to be senators, campaigned and rallied to be mayors, guess what? You got a de facto citizenship. Your citizenship ain't even real. They let you get up there, and of course, people voted you in. Okay, cool. But you still operating under the premise. Okay? This is why you're not going to get nothing. You can talk reparations, holler reparations all day. You're not getting nothing. You're not getting nothing because you're nobody. You let somebody call you something, and that's what you run with. And you teach your kids to run with that. They teach your children to run with it. I just realized in the last 10 years that being black meant I was calling myself civilly dead. So if you're civilly dead, who are they talking to? Who are they providing benefits for? They provide benefits for dead people. So until your status changes, you're going to continue to get treated like a particular way. Now watch this. I want you to read. I want you to see this. I mean, I've been done a couple of videos on, but I got something happened today. And I want you to grab onto this, okay? Now watch this. See what it says? Right there in the middle. Does not mean Caucasian race. Oh, y'all need me to blow that up some more? You can see it here? Get closer. It does not mean Caucasian race, Aryan race, or Indo-European race, nor mixed Indo-European, Dravidian, Semitic, or Mongolian peoples. So we talking about European Jews. How can you be? A European Jew is not Semitic. They're not Semitic. So you say something about a Jew, and they say you're being anti-Semitic. You're not a Semite. You're not a Semite. You're not from the tribe of Shem. You're from the tribe of Ashkenaz. Ashkenaz, which is Japheth. You're not a Semite. But you keep living under that lie. And just because you've taken Semite religion and culture don't mean that's who you are. As is clear with this country, just because we've been living here, still. Okay? Now watch who else it doesn't. The Mongolian peoples that inhabit what? Persia, a Syrian of Asiatic birth and descent, entitled to become a naturalized citizen of the United States as being a free white person. Now you might be able to become a citizen, but you won't be counted as a free white person. That's key. That's significant. Now, I want to show you something. Okay, I hope y'all still looking. Look at this now. Ethnicity, race and ethnicity. Okay. I want y'all to take a look at this now. Take a look. %12.6%. Now, who's doing the counting? I'm sure they don't have no, all of these people that are not represented, I'm sure they don't have none of them in the counting room. How do we know that these numbers are accurate? Well, you just found out that the way they do it, the way they, listen here, you can't make this up. You might call us a conspiracy, but the numbers don't lie. Okay? They found a way to make you permanently an underclass. Are you listening? This is really going to bake your noodle, right? The African that was a descendant of a slave was disqualified from citizenship on any level. And you might talk about the 14th Amendment. Not. 14th Amendment does not make a person a citizen. Doesn't make them a citizen. See, there's a thing called due process. I don't know if anybody's heard of that concept. You know anything about law, then you know that there's a concept called due process. You know what due process is? Due process is the process by which all law has to be administered when it comes to the courts. Now, due process applies anytime that there is a credentialization. In other words, anytime you have to involve yourself with in a situation where the law is involved and you just either stand to inherit a benefit, get a benefit from it, or something's going to happen to you in terms of punishment. They can't punish you without that. In other words, you have to. They have to. There's certain procedures that have to be done in order for them to properly convict you. Any of those things not done, you have to throw your case out. Are you listening to me? This is how you get hung juries. Somebody can decide that they're not coming to the deliberation, and all of a sudden your case will get thrown out. Okay? Which is why they made another law about jury tampering. Don't mess with none of the jurors. Then they find out that you know who the jurors are, so people know who the jurors are, then they go and try to harass them and all kinds of stuff when they go home, so they have to sequester them. So that what? Due process of the court system can be maintained. Now, the African could not become a citizen of the United States. Because even according to the 14th Amendment, it says that he has to be a citizen of the state that he lived in. Not citizen, he was still people. Come on now, y'all stop playing with me. At the time that this law was written, they were still slaves, counted as property. And then they said, well, there should be no slavery and no slavery and forced servitude, except for if you're a convict. Well, wait a minute, hold it. You could see they outlawed the act of slavery, but they didn't change the status of African slaves. They didn't change that. So anything you're doing right now, anything you got going on right now is because they allow it to happen. There's some inherent benefit why they still letting it happen. Y'all are not talking to me. Stop messing with me. Okay? Listen, right now, you see the chart? It says 62% of the population is white. Now, we want to break that down. Let's go back here for a minute. Let's go back. Let's go back and let's count how many people, how many races had black people in them. We would still use the term black, I'm sorry. I'm supposed to be using dark American. Y'all forgive me. Okay? Iberia is Europe. So you mean to tell me wasn't no dark people in Europe? Latin. You know there's a lot of them dark skinned. Greeks. A lot of Greeks are dark skinned. In fact, almost the whole Etruscan community was dark. We already know the Spartans were dark. Come on now. Stop playing with me. Slavic descent. Come on now. Nearly every continent, every culture, everything had dark people in it. So if you want to take those dark people out, then this number will certainly go down. Y'all are not hearing me. Do you know that there are people who live in Africa who, when they decide to come to America, they can be counted as white? Nobody changing that. See? And then they play games with those who are not white to make sure that you never want to be in that population. Now, this is not for everybody. This is not I'm not indicting every white. I'm talking about those who are the framers of this country, who want people to believe that this country's so fair and so sweet, but they still got dirty draws. Come on now, stop playing. Now, watch this. This is really gonna blow you up. Look, 12,000 more Haitians. They were released into the United States. Well, guess what? Haitians not on that list of people who can what? Look, they're not on the list. So guess what? They can be considered white. Y'all not playing. Look, I'm not playing today. I'm not playing. Look, come on now. Y'all see that? Y'all see that? You see it. You see. Look, I'm not playing. I mean, you can't make this stuff up. And then you wonder why you can't get nothing. You wonder why you don't get treated fairly. Because according to the culture, nobody considers you anything. Uh-oh. Wait a minute. I think I got something finna to pop up in my head. Y'all help me. Cause see, there's too many times when folks just play. Okay. Oh, there's Dave Chappelle. Look at that. Let me get another window open here. What's that? The 13th Amendment. See, some folks think that get up here, I'm just playing around, not playing at all. Okay, because this is about to go down. We still got folks, look at. Did you see that? I hope y'all see that. Y'all see that real clear? Let me see if I can make that bigger. Because see, some folks think I'm playing. Okay, now watch this. You see that? It says neither slavery nor involuntary servitude except as a punishment for a crime whereof the party shall have been duly convicted shall exist within the United States at any place subject to their jurisdiction. Now I want you to read this last part. You see that? Congress shall have power to enforce this article by appropriate legislation. That's what struck me as odd. So there's really no enforcement. You can call it what you want to call it, but guess what? You got to go by the spirit of the time it was in. They were talking about folks who were chattel slaves. Of course, you still lost in the sauce, because all they got to do now, as a person, is come up with some kind of crime and convict you. Okay, which is exactly what they did with convict leasing. Y'all not playing. I tell you, I'm not playing. Got my sword sharp today. It says this, look at the power to enforce by appropriate legislation. It doesn't say police powers. It doesn't say that they're going to send somebody out. It doesn't say that they're going to send the marshal out. They're going to send any of that. They don't say any of that. It said by appropriate legislation. In other words, if we find out that somebody's enslaving you, we'll just sign another bill. We'll just write something else out. Okay? We'll just do this. And if you're sneaky and you know how to legalize it out and you turn it into something else, this is why there's a minimum wage. Because if anything less than a minimum wage, unless your job has some kind of other compensation plan, that's considered slavery. Y'all not listening. There's so many people out here think that everything is cool. Listen here, it's not. It's not cool. It's not cool at all. You're getting yourself torn out the frame, and now they're making you do stuff that you don't want to do, and it's You're throwing your hands up. Ain't nothing I can do. Well, tell that to your child. Some of us got kids going to college this year. Some of us got grandchildren. What are you going to tell them? That you punked out? That you didn't have no fight in you? Oh yeah, well of course. There's no fight in you because you don't read nothing. You don't read nothing. You let somebody else say it. And then when it comes down to the actual fight, nobody willing to give it like they need to give it for the cause. Okay? There's a great saying. It says, if you don't stand for something, you'll fall for anything. Okay? And this is basically it. Look at it. You see it right here. They got another 12,000 Haitians being processed for asylum. Okay? Okay? Now, let's talk about the other group. Come on now. The Afghans. Now, now y'all help me out with this one. Wasn't that group of people that was over there, weren't they on like terrorist watch lists? Something like that? Weren't they the enemies of the United States? Wait a minute. Where did we go over there and fight almost 20 something years for us to what? Let them come over here and they still look at they already said it. If y'all don't listen to the news, they already said it. Okay? The people that are coming over here, a lot of them were Taliban. They letting them off the list. They're letting them off the terrorist watch. So what does that mean? Y'all see the number. I'm not playing. I told y'all I'm not playing. 37,000. 37,000. If you're in New York, that's about the size of Auburn. That's about the population of Auburn. It's a whole city. Okay? Now watch this, right? They're placing 37,000 of them in 46 states. Look at this. Y'all see the article? It says these nationals were among the group of 100,000 Afghans at risk who were evacuated from Afghanistan by the U.S. government. Around 60,000 have arrived on U.S. soil. The rest are being processed at U.S. bases abroad. Canada has agreed to settle 5,000. The other countries will follow suit. Of the top 10 receiving states, listen here, coming soon to a state near you. 37,000 as per Axos map are California was getting 5,200, Texas is getting 4,400, Oklahoma's getting 1,800, Washington's getting 1,600, Arizona's getting 1,600, Maryland's getting 1,300, Michigan's getting 1,200, Missouri 1,200, North Carolina 1,100, Virginia 1,100. Hawaii, South Dakota, West Virginia, and Wyoming, along with Washington, D.C., will not be housing any of these. See the list at the end of this post for a detailed count. Well, let's go down to the end of the post. Let's go on down. Hey, all right now. Afghan settlement by state. Let's see if your state's represented here. I gotta blow this up because I don't want y'all to miss anything. Okay. 10 in Alabama. 100. Look at that now. Arkansas. Wait a minute. Arizona, California. All right? Now, as if California don't have enough going on, I wonder if they're going to make those Afghans get the shot. I wonder if they're going to make them mask up when they go inside. I wonder if they're going to have to get a vaccine passport because California, you know, they want one. And I can say vaccine, I don't give a damn. All right? Florida, you know what? Florida's turning out to be a pretty decent place to live. You know what I mean? They had their share of challenges, but I think Florida's trying to really do something. Give kudos to DeSantis, man. He's at least trying to do something, okay? Because this thing is going crazy. Look at Georgia. Now, remember something. Georgia, South Carolina, North Carolina, those areas that hold along that coast were what? Gullah. They're still trying to take their land while giving another 1,000 to people who were enemies of this country. Dark Americans have done nothing but build, 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 even on the backs of the dead. Listen here. There was folks that died in the gold mines, the diamond mines, the coal mines during convict leasing. People got their land stolen from them. But we here playing. Wait a minute. Let's keep it moving. Let's keep it moving. Maryland. Michigan. Missouri. New York. North Carolina. Look, y'all see the numbers. Detailed list. Okay? Uh-oh. Wait a minute. It's my state. Texas. I know them folks, when they get here, they're going to be shouting and hooping. Look, here's the total. Here's the total. 36,000. And that's just the recent update. We not even counting folks that's on the way here. Y'all stop playing with me. Okay? See, for the last month, I've been doing 33 strategies of war. See, here's the problem. Here's the problem. I'm sure y'all are going to get with this. See, psychology is a fascinating field. Okay? It's a fascinating field. And if you want to know anything about how to deal with people, that's the place to go. Fortunately, it don't make a lot of money unless you got some kind of hook. But guess what? If you're a pastor like me and you're trying to help people, this is something you really need. Did you know that whenever I say something to you, that I transmit a spirit? Would you agree with that? I transmit a spirit to you. If you accept it, then you and I would said to be what? In agreement. And so we can keep on moving. The Bible says, how can two walk together except they what? Be agreed. It didn't say except they agree. Okay? That's the one thing I'm hoping happens in the next like minute. That people stop misquoting scripture. Do you know every time you change something, you give it a totally different meaning? He said be agreed. Be agreed is in other words, I'm in the state of agreement. In other words, I'm not being coerced. I'm not being tricked. I'm not being forced. It's just me. I understand what you're saying, so I agree to stand with you. See, we don't agree to stand with each other. And that's because you still calling yourself a dead man, a dead woman. Okay? I heard, you know what? I have the utmost respect for a lot of these guys who are doing good stuff. Okay? Dr. Umar, King Kong Consciousness, y'all know who he is, right? The undisputed prince of Pan-Africanism. He's still using that term black. Okay? Ain't never been nothing in history. Show me where black is. See? This is what I'm saying. You can play with them words all day, and just because you playing with them words because you want it to mean something, don't mean it gonna mean anything. Y'all help me. We can't get our families together because folks are calling stuff things and don't realize the real meaning behind it. See? Marriage is not a relationship. Has never been, never will be. But as long as you keep thinking that, then you'll run down and pay your way to have a relationship. Can you understand what that means? The way it's supposed to work is you're supposed to go to your pastor, which most of us don't have pastors because most of us don't go to church. Most of us hate the church so badly that the one reason people choose to stay away from the church is, oh, there's hypocrites in the church. Well, you ain't one. This look like to me some of y'all will be in good company. Okay? Because today you will say you care about somebody, and tomorrow you'll do something that demonstrates you don't. You know what that is? Hypocrisy. It is what it is. I ain't playing no more. All right? So, did you also know that just because I rephrase it, or I readjust it, or I use its synonym, or I use a word that sounds like a homonym, it sounds like it. It doesn't change the reality of what it actually is. The word black, civilly dead. So every time you call yourself black, you call yourself a dead person. And so what is the responsibility for dead people? Bury you. That's the only thing they can do for you. And before you go harvest your organs. I remember when I was younger, when women would go to the hospital having a baby, they would every appointment they were taking vials and vials and vials of blood. Like, what is all this stuff for? Because they were studying it. Because the key to what? The key to melaninism, they thought was in the blood, but it's not. Ha ha, fooled you. It's in the pineal gland. Y'all help me out. Then there's a genetic code that makes you have a number of melanocytes. See? But I just had that on my mind. It's a plan, folks. It's a plan. That's why they're pushing you to get it. That's why they. Okay? This is why. And you run into it. They done got you scared. Oh, you're all dying. You're gonna die. Oh, give it to me. Help me. You know what? And I've come to this, and I'm sad to say it. I'm sad to say it. There's a lot of us that ain't gonna make it, y'all. I'm sad. I'm sad because I lost family members. And I know how it felt to lose them. I'm thinking about my brother, and I still have trouble with that. I lost my mother the last 5 years. Y'all know I'm not playing. And I'm sure that many of you out there have lost somebody. Okay? Ravaged by cancer. Okay? Kidney problems, heart problems. Stuff that could have been eliminated by a change diet or a change of environment. But that person's not here anymore. Imagine that times 5,000. The Bible talks about weeping and gnashing of teeth. You don't think that that's going to happen in the near future? It is what it is. Right now, we need a platform. We need a platform, and we need an exit strategy. And if you decide that you're not going to do it, then guess what? It's on you. Because I'm not listening here. I'm going to wrap this up. I don't like snakes. Not at all. And there's nothing in me that's going to make me like them. Okay? In fact, as a martial artist, there's a system, a whole system, a snake system. Okay? And it's lethal. It does a lot of... Let me keep moving. I don't like snakes. There's many kinds of snakes, right? There's snakes that just stink, garter snakes, and then there's the kind that will chase you for over a mile, the black mamba. So they're on every spectrum. You put all of those in a vat, and your child says, "No, my pet snake is in there." Guess what? That pet snake gonna have to stay in there. We got a problem as a people. And one of them is because we let everybody else identify us. We let everybody else tell us what we're supposed to be about. We let everybody else tell us what we're supposed to be doing. And then you think for 1 minute that they got your best interests at heart. Come on, folks. Really? These people hate your, and I'm going to say it, they hate your damn guts. They hate the ground you walk on and the air you breathe. Okay? And you know what? Now, the people from their own population are now seeing that they messed up. Now seeing that the whole thing is messed up. This is why they don't want critical race theory. They don't want that in their schools. Why? Because this is one of the things they're going to show you in the book. Need I say any more? All right, folks. It's been real. Thank you for coming. Thank you for, at least supporting. If you're gonna check me out, I'll be on YouTube. This thing, I broadcast on YouTube at the same time. You can find me at King of Kadesh on YouTube. When you go there, like it, follow it, subscribe, hit the notification bell so you'll be notified when I come up. Okay? Everything I use is by fair use. Okay? This is not stuff that's hidden. It ain't secret. You can go ahead and research it for yourself. Right? If you want to talk to me, if you want to, see some stuff, if you want me to, to provide you with some resources so that you can find out and verify, a whole lot of stuff. Any questions you have, you go ahead and send them to me. Send them to me. Give me an email. Okay, and I'm really good about answering. All right. So, in fact, on Monday, starting on Monday, we will be back here. Y'all listen to me. We'll be back reading this. Y'all help me out. I love this book, 33 Strategies of War. You can get this. You can get this on PDF drive. It is on Amazon. It is on Bookie. You can get it from Walmart. You can get this book from several locations. Barnes and Noble has this as well. But if you are the kind of person that you're at home and you're tech savvy and you live in a small place, you can't afford to keep a bunch of books around, we'll go to PDF Drive, get a membership. Membership's really inexpensive, about $5 a month. And there's some books you can download for they're complimentary. I'm not gonna say free because it took somebody some time. They're complimentary. You can go ahead and download PDF Drive. You can get this book. All right. I also want to encourage you, okay, that if you are doing Bible studies, I want to encourage you to grab this software right here, eSword. You want to grab this, and the reason why you want to grab it is because you can get all the versions. You can get any version of Bible you need. You probably can learn another language using the Bible because they have that here too. Okay, eSword. It has places where you can do your references. You got places for your dictionaries. Got places for commentaries. So you could do a complete study with this software. All right. That's just my little plug for eSword. I love eSword. Been using it for a long time. Now, as we move forward, you all got the information. I just want to thank you for coming and govern yourself accordingly. You can stop this, you can rewind it, you can play it back so that you can get these sources. The important thing is you getting these sources so that you'll understand. This is not about warfare. This is not about beating anybody up or killing folks. It's about you putting yourself in the better position. So when the stuff goes down, it's not affecting you. And I'm going to close with this. Remember when they were coming out of Egypt and there were 7 plagues. The 7 plagues hit Egypt. They didn't hit Goshen. And so there were a lot of people who were Hebrew that were living in Goshen. They didn't have the plague of flies, lice, the locusts. They didn't have, their water didn't change to blood, and it didn't darkness, and they didn't lose their firstborn. So I'm just saying to you, okay, the key now is to be in a better position. Okay. Of course, strengthen yourself for the fight if you have to. You may have to, you may have to give somebody some hands. You may have to. But guess what? You may not have to. So just get the knowledge that you can be in a better position. This is Dr. Timothy Hart. You all have a great afternoon and a great